Penn State announces 2026-27 tuition hike. What students need to know. Imagine being a student at one of the most prestigious universities in the country, only to find out that your tuition rates are about to increase again. This is the harsh reality that Penn State students are facing, as the university's Board of Trustees has voted to raise tuition rates for the 2026-27 academic year. But here's where it gets interesting. The increase is not across the board, and some students will actually see no change in their tuition rates. So, what's behind this decision, and how will it affect the students and the university as a whole? Let's dive in and explore the details. The Penn State Board of Trustees voted on July 18 to approve the proposed budget package for the 2026-27 academic year, which includes a tuition increase of 2% for in-state undergraduate students at University Park, a 4% increase for out-of-state undergraduate students at University Park, and a 1% increase for out-of-state undergraduate students at Commonwealth campuses. But in-state undergraduate students at Commonwealth campuses will not see any tuition increase, which is a significant point to note. According to Sarah Thorndike, Penn State's Senior Vice President for Finance and Business/Treasurer, about 18,000 students, or 42% of the university's in-state undergraduate students, will not see any tuition increase. This is a crucial aspect of the decision, as it highlights the university's efforts to prioritize affordability for its students. As Thorndike noted, this is really important for us as we think about affordability. The tuition increases will also affect graduate students, with in-state and out-of-state graduate students at University Park seeing the same increases, and in-state graduate students at Commonwealth campuses facing a 1% increase, while out-of-state graduate students will see a 2% increase. Additionally, students at the College of Medicine, Dickinson Law, and World Campus will also see tuition increases. But what's driving these increases, and why is the university raising tuition rates for the 6th consecutive year? According to Penn State President Neely Bendaputi, the decision to increase tuition was not taken lightly, and the university recognizes the critical need for affordable education. However, she also emphasized that the university is facing significant cost increases, including benefits, union wages, and inflationary pressures, which would make it challenging to achieve a balanced budget without a modest tuition increase. And this is the part most people miss. The university is not just raising tuition rates to increase revenue, but also to cover the rising costs of providing quality education and services to its students. The tuition increases will help cover a 3% annual salary increase, faculty promotions, faculty professional development, a 4% graduate assistantships increase, a negotiated salary increase for unions, and increased health care costs. As Rob Finza, a finance committee member, noted, "I really sincerely believe we owe it to them, to give them a proper raise and the support that they need to support their families in this environment. And most of this tuition increase just gives us the ability to do that." But here's the controversy. Some might argue that the university is passing on the costs to the students, rather than exploring other options to reduce costs or increase revenue. Others might see the tuition increases as a necessary evil to ensure the university's financial sustainability. So, what do you think? Should universities prioritize affordability over other considerations? Or is it reasonable to expect students to bear the cost of rising expenses? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The student fee rates will also increase, with University Park students seeing a $5 increase, and Commonwealth campuses facing varying increases. The housing and food rates will also see an overall increase of 2.85% at University Park, bringing the total to $7,138. Among the other Big Ten schools, Penn State's housing and food rates are below the average cost of $15,505. The overall budget for Penn State is $10.2 billion, with $4.63 billion in Penn State Health, $2.39 billion in tuition and fees, and $1.41 billion in grants and contracts. As the university navigates the challenges of higher education, it's clear that the decision to raise tuition rates is complex and multifaceted. But one thing is certain, the students will be affected, and it's up to us to consider the implications and potential consequences of this decision. So, let's keep the conversation going. What are your thoughts on the tuition increases? And how do you think the university can balance its financial needs with the needs of its students? Penn State 2026-27 Housing and Food Rates. What students need to know. Penn State's Board of Trustees has given the green light to a new wave of housing and meal plan price adjustments for the 2026-27 academic year. But here's the kicker. These increases are the smallest students at University Park have seen in 7 years. This decision, made during the July 18th meeting, might come as a relief to many families, especially as college expenses continue to climb nationwide. But here's where it gets controversial. Even with these modest hikes, students everywhere face rising costs, sparking a debate about whether universities like Penn State are doing enough to ease financial burdens. At the heart of the proposal, the typical housing and food costs at Penn State's main University Park campus will rise by about $198 per semester. This translates to a 2.85% increase based on the standard traditional double room combined with a mid-level meal plan, the most popular choice among students. The plan, presented on July 17 by Penn State's Board of Trustees Committee on Finance and Investment, still awaits one final approval from the full board scheduled for July 18. Sarah Thorndike, Senior Vice President for Finance and Business, Treasurer, and Chief Financial Officer, explained the reasoning behind these adjustments. She highlighted that the proposed rates aim to keep Penn State's total housing and dining costs below the Big Ten Conference average, a competitive stance meant to benefit students. The increase will fund essential expenses, rising food prices, operational costs including residence life programs, employee wages and benefits, upkeep of facilities, and servicing of debt tied to the Housing and Food Services, HFS, capital projects. Our goal at Penn State is to acknowledge that attending college is a significant financial commitment for students and their families, Thorndike said. Despite upward pressure on costs, like escalating prices for food, fuel, utilities, and supplies, we strive diligently to keep rates as reasonable as possible. Simultaneously, we remain dedicated to providing safe, comfortable living spaces and quality dining experiences that students expect and deserve. Importantly, Housing and Food Services operates as a self-sustaining auxiliary unit. This means that no state funding or tuition dollars go toward building, maintaining, or running campus housing and dining. Instead, these programs must fully rely on the revenues generated from housing and meal fees to cover all costs, debts, interest, and major maintenance requirements. Zooming in on University Park, undergraduate housing costs will rise by 2.75%. The traditional double room, the most common accommodation, will cost an extra $111 each semester, totaling $4,150. Simultaneously, the mid-level meal plan will go up by $87, a 3% boost, reaching $2,988. That means the combined housing and food fees for one semester are projected to be $7,138 for 2026-27. Graduate students living in University Park's White Course apartments will breathe a sigh of relief. For the 6th consecutive year, rates for one-bedroom, one-bathroom unfurnished units remain unchanged at $1,168 per month, with no increases since the 2020-21 academic cycle. Thorndike also noted exciting improvements underway, like renovations at Pollock Halls, specifically the Rittner and Wolf residence halls, and a strong focus on addressing deferred maintenance in older buildings. A significant $27 million has been allocated within the proposed rates to support ongoing upkeep, which includes vital repairs like roof replacements, plumbing fixes, elevator servicing, furniture upgrades, painting, equipment enhancements, technology updates, and security improvements across Penn State's residence facilities statewide. Shifting to the Commonwealth campuses, those offering residential dining will see the mid-level meal plan cost increase by $41 per semester, just a 1.5% rise, landing at $2,804 for the 2026-27 year. Undergraduate housing rates at Abington, Altoona, Beaver, Bear End, Berks, Brandywine, and Harrisburg will go up modestly by 1.75%. The combined price of a traditional double room plus the mid-level meal plan at these 7 campuses will increase by $110 per semester, a 1.64% total growth, resulting in a cost of $6,815. However, students at Greater Allegheny, Hazleton, Mont Alto, and Schuylkill campuses will see no increase in undergraduate housing rates. The blended cost of a traditional double room and mid-level meal plan there will rise slightly by $41 per semester, 0.62%, reaching $6,603. Complete details of the proposed 2026-27 rates for all campuses and room types are publicly accessible online, with final approved rates to be posted at livon.psu.edu/rates. For context, the rates for the 2025-26 academic year were approved last July, setting prior benchmarks. And here's the part most people miss: Penn State continues to take concrete steps to assist students facing financial hardships. Through the Live On Student Success Grant Program, started in 2021-22, eligible students living on campus can receive a $3,000 grant each year, renewable for up to 4 years. This grant can add up to a generous $12,000 balance, which roughly offsets the cost of 1 full year of housing and meals. Thorndike emphasized that for both the 2025-26 and 2026-27 academic years, Housing and Food Services expects to distribute over $1.5 million annually through the Live On program, supporting about 500 students each year. These grants build on even greater assistance provided in prior years. $1.3 million awarded in 2024-25 to 438 students. Any student curious to learn more about this valuable program can find details online. Beyond grants, Penn State offers various basic needs resources to help students struggling with food or housing insecurity. Every campus hosts food pantries and community support services designed to keep students nourished and housed during tough times. This raises an intriguing question. While Penn State's rate increases are as restrained as they've been in years, is it enough to truly alleviate financial stress for all students? Should institutions take even bolder steps toward freezing or reducing costs, especially amid rising living expenses nationwide? Or are these modest increases a reasonable and inevitable reality of maintaining quality campus life? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe this approach balances quality and affordability, or is there more that should be done? Join the conversation and share your perspective below.